amount of student loan debt is rising and is expected to reach a whopping $1 trillion in the next year. The cost of tuition and the debt acquired by students has become an issue of great importance for many scholars and graduates. Mark Kantrowitz, a nationally recognized financial aid expert and the founder of FastWeb.com and FinAid.org, understands the effects that student loan debt has on an individual's ability to pay for school.
It mainly has an impact on the affordability of college and their ability to repay the debt after they graduate. So the main concern is, how does that debt that they're incurring to obtain the degree compare with the income that they obtain after they graduate? If the debt at graduation exceeds the annual starting salary, the student's going to struggle to repay the loans, and they'll have to use alternate repayment plans like extended repayment or income-based repayment in order to afford the monthly loan payment. The problem with this is that if your debt is less than your income, you can repay the debt in about 10 years. If you have to use one of these alternate repayment plans, you're going to take 20 or even 30 years to repay the debt, which means you're still going to be repaying your own student loans when your children enroll in college.
Incurring such a large financial burden can delay a graduate's advancement into the next stages of adulthood, such as buying a car, investing in a home, or saving for their children's education. In 2010, USA Today reported that student loan debt had surpassed credit card debt in America. With the cost of living rising and the average income staying the same, many students with a large quantity of debt are forced to pursue careers that aren't necessarily their passion to be able to survive. On average, a senior in college will graduate with $25,250 of debt, according to the Institute for College Access and Success Project on Student Debt. This is over half of the average salary of a college graduate, which is roughly $50,000, according to the National Association of Colleges and Employers. Adetayo Eneton, a social worker and mother of an undergraduate student, describes the conflict that she has with advising her clients as well as her son about how to pay for college, and how the burden of student loans has affected her son's career choice.
As a social worker, one of the things that I do is work with people on setting goals and accomplishing their goals. Some folk do want to go to school, but they can't afford the tuition without taking out loans, and to advise them to take out the loans knowing that the difficulty they might have in paying them back is some kind presents some type of conflict with me. Take my son, for instance. Now he was interested in another field. Now he's decided to teach because in teaching he will be able to get his loans forgiven. So it does affect some people's decisions about what jobs they want to take. And on the other hand, there are lots of times that we don't have a choice in deciding which jobs, given the state of the economy, what jobs we can take, so we take whatever jobs are offered, and then often they aren't paying high enough to support the loans.
So you might be interested in a job that doesn't pay as well, but the realities of needing to repay your debt will force you to take a different job that you may not be as happy with. So pursuing your dreams without regard to the amount of debt that you take on may ultimately force you to stop pursuing your dreams.
A 2011 study done by Georgetown University's Center on Education and the Workforce, entitled The Undereducated American, found that the income inequality gap between college graduates and those who've only attained a high school diploma has been steadily rising over the past 30 years. They also found that the number of college-educated workers has not grown with the demand within the workforce. If this trend continues, the level of income inequality will only continue to get higher. Teacher and arts activist Diane Whitner illustrates how the student debt crisis can negatively affect students' financial stability and the societal impact of having an undereducated workforce.
For so many people who come out of college or come out of graduate school with loans, they find themselves in a position where they need to quickly get a very high-paying job in order to be able to pay just rent, for instance, and to pay back their loan. And oftentimes, increasingly, it's difficult to even find that. We have so many talented young people who come from a whole range of backgrounds, who are capable of helping us address some of the terrible crises we face as a society. There's a whole range of societal needs that could be met if we had an opportunity for our young people to transition into them.
Student protests in Chile brought the country to a halt late last year as young people called for more government support for secondary education. Protesters demanded higher taxes for the rich so that the Chilean higher education system, which is largely privatized, can be free for all. The recent strike in Quebec, which included over 165,000 students, shut down local businesses and cost the government millions of dollars. Participants were protesting against plans to increase tuition by almost 75% over a 5-year period. The demonstrators are also calling for free state-funded education. These types of ideas closely resemble what many American students are proposing as alternatives to the system that is currently in place. There are a number of groups across the country organizing on college campuses and in city squares that share the same. Isaiah Toney, a student at George Washington University and an organizer with the Student Labor Action Project, explains how he and other...
Well, ultimately, myself and a lot of folks here, including folks I work with at the Student Labor Action Project, believe that education is a right, including higher education. There was a time when people thought that high school wasn't a right. There was a time when people thought middle school and elementary school weren't rights, but now they're guaranteed because people fought for them. We envision a world where higher education is a part of that right, and where it's free, and where it's high quality. We don't think that world will come tomorrow, but we think that a strong next step is for Sallie Mae and other student loan lenders to forgive the balance on student loans that are paid consistently for 5 years, and to drop all interest rates on all loans until our economic recovery is complete.
While the federal student loan program has been revamped, there are still students who will feel the brunt of the financial weight that comes with taking out loans for school. This is Megan Sherman reporting with the Real News Network.